After you've poured so much of your heart and soul and time and energy, effort, blood, sweat, and tears into gaining English fluency, can you lose it?
Let's talk about it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Why Well Friends English. We have worked with a lot of English language learners. For many, the goal is to be fluent in English. The question is, after all that work, can you go backwards?
Sliding backwards in language, that is a thing. Just like for you in your language, if you get to this awesome level of vocabulary and writing ability, speaking ability, you're just a natural. You are far more less likely to lose the skill set, the principles, the things that hold up those skills, but that knowledge of that vocabulary and the beauty of the language as it goes, if you are not doing anything with it, you can lose it. You can slide backwards.
The caveat here, though, is that you do gain it back faster. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of students that have spent hours and hours studying special vocabulary and phrases and idioms. And after having that practice of using those idioms, of learning those idioms, of using those phrases in a natural context, they lost them. But when they come across that idiom again, it takes no time for them at all to pick that back up and then use it in a natural way. So that's the caveat here is, yes, you will lose English. Yes, you can lose fluency, but the real benefit for striving for fluency is even if you do lose it, you can then come back a lot faster and a lot more confidently because you've already invested those hours into studying that language in the first place.
So that begs the question, what are steps you can take now to avoid losing your fluency in the first place? And then what can you do to get it back? How to not lose it in the first place can be as simple as just do it. Just listen in English, just speak in English, just read books in English, and just do it normally. Build it into your lifestyle. Make English a part of who you are as a person in terms of your living situation. Make sure you are constantly reading books or you're listening to podcasts. Just tune into YouTube videos. Find creators that you enjoy on YouTube and watch their content in English. If you are constantly learning, but you are not resting in English. And I know English is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I know that resting in your target language is a lot of work. Still, it's not really rest. But if you keep doing it, you'll get to the point where you are dreaming in English, where you're thinking in English easier, where you're able to just sit there passively and soak it up in a way. And that's part of fluency that is needed. Because then how to keep those more difficult vocabulary, those more expressive words and phrases and idioms is that you are constantly reinforcing them by hearing them all the time or by reading them all the time. Elevate what you read. If you are watching Saturday Night Live all the time for your English practice, that's great. If you want your vocabulary to be Saturday Night Live vocabulary. If you want your English to be much more academic, then you need to be reading and doing research in English for academic English. If you want to be a business professional, then go through the trainings in English, go through the books in English. That's what's required.
Think of it in terms of maintenance on a vehicle. So how do you keep your vehicle to not break? How do you keep your vehicle in working order? How do you keep it on the road? And the answer is a lot of maintenance over time, actually. If you don't change the oil, if you don't rotate the tires, if you don't change out the air filters on time, regularly, then that vehicle is going to fall apart. One of these days, it's going to crap out.
Many of you might come from a culture where you don't have a car. It's kind of like this with your body and your health as well.
You have to build up. You have to have constant maintenance. Otherwise, all the work you do is going to just fall apart. So like she just said, using your body and health as a great example of this. You can spend so much work getting your body and your physique and your health and wellness and food and nutrition where it needs to be. But after reaching that goal, if you let it slide, then it's going to be no surprise to anyone that you can slide back into unhealthy habits. And so what you have to do is to find those things, find those lifestyle habits and incorporate them into your regular life.
It's like if you want a six-pack, it takes far longer to get there than it takes to lose it. It's the same thing with language. It's the same thing with a lot of skills, actually. But if you're regularly maintaining and you're regularly doing exercises to maintain that six-pack, you're likely to keep it. Do you have to work as hard as you did to get there? No, but it is work and it is maintenance that you have to keep doing to maintain your lifestyle and your eating habits and your exercise habits in order to maintain that. So it's the same with your language. Think of it like a muscle in a lot of ways. So let's say that some of you guys are at the point right now where you feel like you are losing your fluency, or you feel like you've really lost a lot of ground to get it back. We say that it's a bit easier to get it back, but what do? You
don't have to go back to base camp. You don't have to go back to ground zero. Thankfully, with all the work that you have done before, you can easily and quickly review some of those things that you did previously. Using Chinese as an example here, when I go back and I look over old flashcards, I don't have to spend hours and hours and hours going over them. I can actually fly through a ton of them really quickly because I have already studied them for years, or I've already studied them for hours. For you guys, it's largely the same way. If you really feel like your language is slipping, if you really feel like you're starting to backslide a little bit, one thing you can do is to go over a book or go over some material that you've done before really quickly as a reminder to your brain to be like, hey, it's still there. It's still right there and we're still on track.
I will say one of the things that is frustrating about trying to go back to where you were is by picking up a book in the same style that you had before, at the same level that you had before, and trying to read that, because then you'll just be frustrated at how many words you have to look up still. But if you go back to a book that you've already read before, you've already done the work on before, and if you're a note taker, you've already taken notes on before, it's going to be so helpful. I hope you're getting a sense here of this twofold thing. The things that you could do now to avoid losing fluency in the future, but also the things that you can do if you start to slip or find that you're starting to slip in certain areas in your English or in certain realms or contexts of your English, and how to get that back.
Because frankly, a lot of it means do it right the first time. You have this expression, the American South, if you do it right, you do it light. If you do it wrong, you do it long. If you can start the process right, then even if you backslide a little bit, you're going to find that you can pick it up a lot easier than you did previously. And so that means that you got to make sure that you are being intentional about the English language learning that you're doing in the first half, in the first part of your language journey. We know a lot of students that their language learning strategy is just playing English in the background, and for them, that strategy is going to work against them when they start to backslide, because they can listen to that English song again that they've listened to 100 times before, but they haven't actively listened to it. They're going to be like, wow, I didn't know what it was saying. So I'm going to go back to that familiar book. I'm going to go back to that familiar story. I'm going to go back to that familiar YouTube channel. If you weren't actually listening in the first place, then it's going to be difficult.
So have a strategy when you approach English language learning now. And you need that strategy now. Take your notes, keep your notes, put them in the binder, do whatever it takes. We've got an advanced study strategy here that you guys can follow. We're going to be coming out with more content here in the next few weeks where you can put together this strategy that works and that helps you to go back to it very easily. It's kind of like my university notes. I have them still, actually. I still have them years later. And I know the stuff. I know the principles undergirding all of that, but do I remember all the dates and all the figures and all the important people? Not really. But it would be so fast if I just go to my notes, because I took such meticulous notes and I went back over them and I organized them and I made sure I had them and I learned them, and I still have the study guides for the exams and I have the essays. I could go back and I could pick all that up very easily again, should I choose to do so. It should be the same with your language learning. It should be something that you can do so well the first time that you can go back again if you need to. And honestly, periodically going back is a good idea. Not back to intermediate grammar. I'm not talking about that, but I am talking about going back over your notes every now and again. It doesn't have to be often. It doesn't even have to be every year. Just going back and seeing, like, do I still know these? Ideally, you're doing enough English in your daily life that you'll come across the words that you are not familiar with anymore anyway, and you'll be taking notes on those words. But if you are not, because you are very busy or you have a bunch of kids at home or whatever it is, having the ability to just flip back through some notes helps you retain what you have learned even years ago.
And the last thing that can help you while you're in the process of backsliding, where you can accelerate back up to par in your own mind, is to work with a tutor. We've said it before on this channel, we will say it again. The thing that makes language learning easier is when we were actually working with a real human being. I've been talking to my students recently about how it makes language sticky. In order for you to build on this sandcastle, it's a structure, but it's starting to fall apart and you're trying to rebuild it while it's falling apart. You need some sticky element. You need some glue that's going to help it come together. And the best thing that we have found is working with real people who know you and know your struggles, know where you have been, know where you're going, know your goals, so that they can help keep you accountable.
Somebody who's just skilled with taking all those things that are falling apart and giving you a point that holds them all together very easily. A tutor brings you strategy. Yes, you can get a book. You can go and sign up for a random online course. You can do that, and it's going to help a little bit. But if you have somebody who knows you, and they know the language you're coming from, and they know what your goal is, and they know where you've been and where you're going with English, they can find those points that are the most efficient thing for you to know and study and help you tie all of that together. You're building back a wall of that sandcastle instead of, every little thing you're catching, and you're chasing yourself more than you're actually strategically approaching the situation. So if you have the ability to find a tutor, great. If you are looking for more information about what kind of tutor to hire or how to find one, check out this video up here.
All right, guys, so that's it for this video. We hope that you don't backslide. We hope that your English stays well and good and strong, and that is our goal as English teachers. That is our goal of this channel, is to help you continue to maintain that English, to kind of build it up, to kind of bolster yourself against this backsliding. But even if that happens, do not be dismayed. Do not be discouraged, because you can grow it back. And a lot of times you grow it back a lot faster. So thank you guys so much for watching. And like always, we will catch you on the next one.